You heard the story of my last skate before I say I do. Well, this is the story of my first skate after I got married. And what better way to start married life than going out for a double skate session. Before I went to Bali, I had a plan to finish off season 6 of Skate Park Saturdays by skating 6 different skate parks around the island. I actually had more than 6 parks written down that I could check out, but I knew I wouldn't have time to get around to all of them, and 6 was enough for what I needed. The only problem was, by this part of the trip, I was hoping to have filmed a little bit more. I'd only managed to skate 4 of the 6 parks I needed, and this was pretty much my last chance to get out and skate before leaving Bali. So if I wanted to finish the season, I had to fit 2 skate parks into this one day. This was back when I was filming season 6 of Skate Park Saturdays. I'm actually now filming season 7, which I'm working on alongside these skate stories. So there were plenty more skate park videos coming alongside these for you to go and watch. So come back to the channel Saturday and see which skate park we end up at in season 7. Now back to the story. There was just one slight problem. This final day I had to skate turned out to be one of the hottest days of the whole trip, and it was around 38 degrees, which was not good when I had 2 skate parks to get to. For the first park, I decided to head to Lumintang Extreme Park. I'd seen this park before coming to Bali, and it looked great. It wasn't one of the more popular parks that you hear about when people talk about skateboarding in Bali, and that made me want to go to it even more because it was good to show somewhere different than what everyone else does. So this was park number 5 out of the 6 I needed, and even though it was seriously hot, I still wanted to try and make the most out of the session and get the best video I possibly could. The plan was simple: get as much skating done here as I possibly could and then move on to the second park. But the heat definitely made things harder. It wasn't just the temperature, the humidity in Bali made a big difference. I've actually skated in hotter temperatures whilst in Australia, but somehow this just felt so much warmer. The humidity made such a big difference. When you're skating, you get hot and sweaty really fast, but because of the humidity, when you stop, you just don't feel that relief that you would get normally. You take a break, have some water, but you still feel like the heat is just building. It feels like you can't really ever cool down, and for that reason you just never fully recover, and you just have to get back on the board and suck it up. In the end, the heat and the humidity got the better of me, and I just had to call it and end that session whilst I still had at least a little bit left in the tank to move on to the next skate park. Originally, I'd planned to go to the Globe skate park. It seemed like the obvious choice. It was the closest to where I was staying at the time, and just seemed easier to get to. But there was a couple of things making me rethink that plan. For one, Globe is another outdoor park, and after skating in the 30-degree heat at Lumintang, I really didn't want to spend any more time skating in the sun. And the other thing was the style of the park. As I mentioned in my previous video about how many skate parks there are in Bali, I'm not much of a bowl skater, and Globe is mainly a big bowl. So with the heat already becoming a problem, I decided to change the plan. Instead, I headed to Motion Skate Park, and this turned out to be a very good decision. Motion Skate Park is Bali's only indoor park, so after spending the first part of the day skating outside in the heat, it was nice to finally get some shade and get out. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still very warm skateboarding at the indoor park, but at least the sun wasn't beaming down on me with its punishing rays. And at least when you stopped, you got at least a tiny bit of relief. Not quite as much as you would like, but more than I was doing when I was in the grasp of the sun at Lumintang. And just like that, I'd managed to get the 2 parks done in one day that I needed to complete season 6 of Skate Park Saturday. Looking back, I think the heat was probably one of the biggest challenges of that day. I definitely skated hotter temperatures, but this just felt different. The humidity made a difference, and at 38 years old, I'm not getting any younger either, and the recovery becomes just that little bit harder. So maybe trying to skate 2 skate parks in 38-degree heat wasn't the smartest way to spend my first skate after getting married. But at least I got it done. So I spoke about Australia before. It actually has another connection to this whole trip. My daughter lives in Australia, and that is actually one of the reasons we went to Bali in the first place, to get married. One of the reasons we chose Bali for the wedding was that it made it easier for her to get over here and be with us for the wedding. So when I think back to this Bali trip, Australia is actually still a pretty big part of the story. Both my daughter and the temperature link back to my trip to Australia. But this one is about Bali and skateboarding in 38 degrees at 38 years old. Australia, well, that's a story for another skate story video.